very excited that I'm going to be playing at the Loud Women Festival at the Amersham Arms on September the 3rd. I've played in lots of bands. I know I've done quite a few Loud Women shows with lots of different bands. And I definitely played at the last Loud Women Festival with T-Bitch and also with the house band. And I was thinking about this earlier. I did play one solo show with Loud Women back in 2016, I think, but it wasn't, until I've only actually started doing proper solo shows in the last couple of years, but I used to occasionally do this thing that I called Charley's Classic Covers, where I'd just get up with a guitar and I would play my versions of lots of popular hits or unpopular hits. And I did one of those, back in 2016 for Loud Women. Don't know if I snuck in any of my own songs or not. I can't remember. Who can say? But this is definitely my first solo Loud Women show, I think, since I've properly gone solo and started doing, my own material as an ongoing thing. I'm going to be playing guitar on a few tracks with Miri, which I'm very excited about. I've been going to see Miri on and off over the years. I think she's got a great voice and she's a very dear soul, and so it's going to be really nice to play with her. Yeah, I'm kind of like, having played in bands and been a guitarist for so many years, that's kind of, I don't get nervous about that anymore, And I kind of part of the reason of doing solo shows was I wanted the challenge of the whole new set of nerves, the new set of things to overcome. Yeah, it's two very different things, really. The playing solo, totally solo, I can go off on whatever tangent I want, and that's part of my thing. I don't, when I first started doing solo gigs, I made it part of my kind of manifesto to myself, really, that every show would be completely different. So every set list is different. I'm always trying to get in a new song. Sometimes the songs, I play them completely different. Sometimes I'll go off onto tangents within the song. And when I'm playing completely solo, of course, I'm free to do that. I can be prolific. And if I did set myself a task of writing several a day, I could very easily these days. In the past, I couldn't, but I've kind of learned how to do it now, which is quite easy. You just set yourself limitations. You decide, I'm going to write 20 songs today, and you probably won't write 20, but you'll probably write 5. And I do have days when I do that. But then I can go for months and months and months where I don't bother because I'm quite lazy. In terms of peers that were, I guess, contemporaries of mine when I started out, maybe been going a couple of years ahead of me, I think Throwing Muses were a huge one for me. Both guitar-wise, definitely both Kristen Hirsch and Tanya Donnelly. And then vocally, I think I just always, Kristen Hirsch has got a very powerful voice. I've got quite a, I'm not going to say weak, but I have said weak. My voice is quite fragile sometimes, and I really liked the kind of fragility and the kind of there's a quality about Tanya Donnelly singing that I always liked, and I guess that kind of gave me the confidence to think, even if I haven't got a huge pair of lungs, I can make something nice with what I've got. So that was probably an influence. And another person from around that time that I only really recently realized was an influence of me was Emma Anderson from Lush. And I realized it because I went to see Lush when they reformed, and I was noticing how she plays solos on one string, and that's something that I do, and I realized I copied it off her. I really like, because when you're learning the guitar, when you're learning to play, to play lead parts, you sort of quickly learn that it's kind of a lot easier if you move your hand around in the same position on the neck. But I really I remember thinking it looked really cool when she did these solos that went all up and down the neck, and I started doing that, and I like the sound of it too. So there's one that I only realized recently. But also, I want to, in terms of having a more sort of overall influence on me, and certainly in terms of me starting to do solo stuff, I think Laura Kidd, who was She Makes War and is now Pen Friend. I just think her kind of, I kind of don't want to say work ethic, because I'm not really into having a good work ethic. I like having a good life ethic, and just enjoying life. But Laura's one of those people that has just been creative in so many fields and is very enthusiastic and encouraging of other people doing that. And I think sort of being in correspondence with her and seeing what she's done kind of gave me the impetus to go, do you know what? I'm just going to do some solo stuff now. I'm gonna make that my thing. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing Snoozers. I think Nadia Dubai is brilliant. I saw them at a Loud Women show, Hope and Anchor, and it's just so much energy in their songs. They made me dance a lot, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them. And I'm really looking forward to seeing I Am Her. I saw them once in Hastings at another Loud Women show, and just really enjoyed the songwriting, very interesting arrangements, and they're first on the Saturday. Am I allowed to say that? I hope so, because I want people to get there early. I want people to get there early on the Saturday and see I Am Her, because I think that's one of my top tips. I'm really looking forward to seeing at Loud Women Fest, who I've not seen before, is Fraulein. I've been following them for a while. I think they're brilliant. And for one reason or another, I just keep missing gigs. They're often playing the same time that I am, or I've got a rehearsal. So I'm really excited about that. And also an unmissable act, I think. I am going to give a shout out to Doris, because whenever I see them, I just feel happy. They're one of those bands that you just smile and you dance to, and kind of, you know, they're a kind of really good time party band, really, and you need one of those at a festival, I think. Also, I've heard Muff are really great. Some friends of mine in Brighton saw them and said they were blown away by them, and I was hoping to see them in Hastings, but they couldn't make that gig, so looking forward to that too. There are many qualities about Loud Women as a festival that are the qualities I look for, and that a lot of my favourite festivals have. One is the kind of community spirit and the sense that this is somewhere where you can go on your own if you want, and you will feel safe, you'll be looked after, that everybody is there to support the band and to support each other, and that it's basically a friendly, welcoming place where, you know, you're gonna have a good time. You don't need to worry about some of the things you might have to worry about at gigs generally. And also, there's a thing I really like, the fact that the scheduling is such that you don't have to miss anything. I like being at festivals where you don't have to tread, you know, go from one end of a site to another to see a band, where if you start watching this band, you're going to miss the beginning of another band that you like. And Loud Women are very good at scheduling things so that, you know, things lead from one thing to another. You go and watch a band in one stage, when they finish, the next one is about to start in the other room, and it's seamless. And, you know, those two things, just being somewhere that's safe and welcoming and friendly, and where you don't have to worry about missing any of the bands, it's just great. I'm going to give you an example from today, well, from this weekend. I've just come back from a festival in Somerset, which was really friendly, really welcoming, everything great. This is why I'm wearing flowers, by the way, because they were in the dressing room and I liked them. And I was playing my guitar backstage, warming up, and some guys walked past, and I got a little sort of patronising, misogynistic comment that he probably thought was nice, where he just walked past and went, "You go, girl." And I just kind of laughed, and it just kind of rolled right off me, because it was just so ridiculous. And it struck me that, you know, 10, 20 years ago, that wasn't ridiculous. That was what I always got when I picked up a guitar. I could not walk around somewhere playing a guitar without dozens of men, you know, coming up and going, "Oh, you get on, girl, you show them," or "Give us a tune, love," or "Oh, look, here's Elvis." And there's no shortage of acts at all. And the fact that, I mean, just little things like the fact that there are a lot of short scale guitars now, you know, manufacturers have realized that women aren't a minority demographic in terms of, like, you know, people that make and play music anymore. And all those things kind of make it even more ridiculous and infuriating, really, that at sort of higher levels, I'm thinking specifically of big festival lineups, that there is still such a dearth of women on big festival lineups. And that's why, obviously, you know, Loud Women Festival is really important still, because, you know, there's no shortage of bands, but there is a shortage of big festival lineups that are prepared to book those bands. I don't know if this, so the scene at the moment in terms of bands is brilliant. You know, there are lots of gig clashes happening for me at the moment, you know, and that didn't happen a few years ago. There will be a night and it'll be like, there's 4 bands I want to see tonight, which am I going to choose? So that is brilliant. And in terms of, like, the audiences these days, you know, I think there are smaller audiences a lot of the time than there used to be, in terms of the kind of gigs I'm going to anyway, but the audiences are so supportive of the bands, and you get a sense that although there's less of a kind of, like, pool of people that are going out to gigs every night, the ones that are, they really want to support the bands, they want to buy the merch, they want to learn the songs, you know, they're really there. What I would like to see happening, and I hope can happen, I hope we can find a way to sort of bring some more people in, that maybe, because so many people are so used to just consuming music by streaming now, and people are kind of, a lot of people who don't go into small gigs are used to saving up all of their money to go and see a gig that costs like 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds somewhere, and possibly aren't aware that they can, you know, have a number of excellent nights out for the same money, you know. I was thinking about this the other day and thinking, I mean, of course, some of those people, they're probably not so interested in the kind of DIY funky scene and so on. But for example, I was thinking someone like Piney Gear, right? I think Piney Gear is exceptional. And whenever I go and see her, and her band is so professional, and she's got such a brilliant voice, and you see her in a, you know, a room that holds, like, you know, 200 people. And I'm thinking, this is, in terms of quality and in terms of the kind of mass appeal this has, this is on a par with something like Fleetwood Mac or Dolly Parton. I'm not exaggerating. I think it's that good. And I wish there was a way of bringing in the people that are prepared to spend, you know, 100 quid or something to see a band like that. Go, you could see Piney Gear for like 10 times for that, and be in a room where you can feel a direct communication between yourself and the people on stage, and have a really personal, intimate experience. That is where I would like to see the scene going. Well, given all we've just said, I really hope everyone's going to come to the festival next week. Support independent artists, support women in music, and I mean, think how much you pay to go to the cinema, and think how much you can get for not much more than that over the course of a weekend. I think it's brilliant value, and I think it's a really important event to support. When you tell her